ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the eSports Report. Puckett here with Mr. X.
How you doing, buddy?
This is going to be Season 3. Day number 1 kicks off today, and we're doing it a little bit differently this time around for the new Pro League season.
A little bit different. You see us dressed up.
Yeah, classic.
Maven will be with me on Skype tonight, so it's a little bit different than Season 2.
It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, for everyone watching, of course, we've been running Advanced Warfare since its inception back in November, and we have seen quite a few different squads forming. Today, no different. Before we get into what's happened so far for the Season 3 rosters, we should start back with the very beginning. Basically, at the start of the game, there's been one team that's been dominant on top with a few exceptions, COD champs, and of course the Columbus Open. Optic Gaming dominating everything else.
Yeah, I mean, Optic Gaming, Season 1 and Season 2 dominating both of those. They won Season 1 with Nate, Season 2 with Karma. Doesn't look like they're going to be slowing down anytime soon.
Now, Optic Gaming, of course, the front runner, but everyone else has been trying to play catch-up. We saw throughout Season 2 a number of roster changes. FaZe Red was the first dominant force, the God Squad, that was put together to take down this Optic squad. They fell short of that goal. We saw similar things with Denial and even the Envy roster. And you look back, and it's kind of strange to remember that Aches and Parasite were once put together on a team to play side by side to dethrone Optic Gaming. Why weren't they able to do it?
They were pretty good. When they were teammates, they were pretty good, just couldn't coexist. That third place at champs, kind of funny. Like Denial did upset Optic Gaming at champs. Optic Gaming after that has gone on to win everything. But, this FaZe lineup with Aches and Parasite, I mean, they should have, on paper, they should have been the ones that really could have given them for a run for their money.
And the craziest part is now neither of those players in Season 3 on starting lineups right now. Then we go look at Denial eSports. Denial coming together. Clayster and JCap put together on the same squad. They brought in some young blood with Attach. This team, with Replays, of course, their captain, able to make it all the way to the grand finals and win that over Team Revenge. The major upset of the tournament was over Optic Gaming, but shortly after, Denial made the big change.
Well, I think that was the largest story at the time, right? Envy makes that trade to get Saints and Zuma, and it's Denial actually ends up winning it, getting Clayster and JCap. They go on to win champs. Just wasn't able to keep it together for much longer after that. I mean, just breaking up, and those guys go in their separate ways.
And then, of course, you had Envious, TP and Proofy coming back, boys in blue. Everyone's excited about this roster. Clayster, of course, always said couldn't play alongside Proofy. He was playing with JCat. We'll take a look at Teep, though. This is the man that I want to know, where is he going to end up? Also, not a part of a starting lineup that I'm aware of right now. Matt, where do you think this guy could go?
I mean, Teep, Proof, Aches, Killa, all free agents right now. Teep, he has announced that him and Aches going to be teaming together again. I think those two just end up sitting it out. I don't think they're going to find starting rosters. Don't think they're going to put themselves in a bad situation going forward. I think they'll probably end up trying to pick up one or two players, go to some of these other events. I think they're just going to kind of wait things out. Sleeper, I would say, maybe they end up as subs for one of these top teams, and in case their big plans don't work out, maybe they always use that as a pretty nice backup.
And of course, we'll have to see what is going to happen with Proof. Now, looking through, we've seen all the veterans. 19-time champion Aches on the sideline.
Yeah.
World champion in TP on the sideline. World champion in Parasite on the sideline. But we're seeing some youngsters really starting to step up and taking positions. Hook, he's been a huge name since the game first dropped. Even before it dropped, you said he was a guy dropping 70 kills in a lobby. He got picked up, was doing very well with all the teams he's played on, but recently he's involved in a major transaction going over to the new Denial lineup. And then, of course, TJ Halley. As of yesterday, he was a member of Team Caliber.
As of today?
Octane and Temp, though, also some new guns making names for themselves, and I really can't wait to see what is going to happen here. Of course, Octane, member of Envy currently. We should introduce everyone to our teams that are now competing in Season 3. I know it's been chaotic, trying to catch up everything that's happened so far, but here are the squads we know, and we'll start at the very top. Optic Gaming, of course, no roster moves here, no need for it. You got the best Slayer in Advanced Warfare, and Scump, in my opinion, he's always dropped the biggest numbers. Our Season 1 and Season 2 MVP, joined by the world champions in Crimsix and Karma, and of course, Formal, known for his assault rifle prowess.
Just an insane team. I mean, a lot of people would have said, you know, you get Crim, Karma, Scum, Formal. That was like their dream scenario. Nadeshot ends up retiring. Karma comes in, takes his spot. And they have just been amazing ever since, just dominant in all facets of the game.
And then, of course, behind Optic Gaming, you have another fan favorite. Team Envious has always been around the Call of Duty scene, and this is a totally retooled roster from Season 2 to Season 3. Only one player remains, that is Looney. Everyone else you see brought in recently. Aqua and Octane failed to qualify for Season 3, playing with Aches back on the Prophecy lineup at the relegation tournament. JCap, he of course is going to be coming over after a long run with Denial. What do you think of this new lineup? Does it work on paper in your mind, Matt?
I think it does. I mean, you have a dominant AR in Octane, very good aggressive sub in Aqua. Looney, another pretty good submachine gun player in his own right. And then you get JCap, that veteran, kind of fits any type of role, you know, AR or SMG. Expect this team to do some big things.
It's going to be exciting. JCap, of course, winning or getting second place, the runners-up of the 2013 National Championship, World Championship there with Team Envious. But he's not the only player who has been making moves. We see, let's skip Rise Nation for now. We're going down to Epsilon. This is a team that looks very similar to the NV lineup. When you ask me, it's going to be, of course, Swanee, the power AR. You got Nagafen, another very strong AR who can run an SMG at any time. The aggressive SMG, just like Aqua, it's Remy constantly in the action. And then Royalty, arguably their best player. The young gun just breaking out a few weeks ago at a relegation event. I think this Epsilon lineup, if they have the same success that we saw on land from them online, this is a team that could be competing for a top spot.
Royalty was sick at Season 3 relegation. I think coming into Season 3, a lot of expectations on him to really reproduce that kind of performance on a day in and day out. But I think it's going to be Remy, the one who's going to be the leader for this Epsilon lineup. He's going to have to get everyone in tow, playing good on a day-to-day. I mean, they look great at Season 3 relegation the first 2 days. Last day, they fall short. I mean, didn't play their best on that Sunday. The Pro League, only 22 games, going to need the best every day.
And I think that's going to be the key. When they're winning, they don't have an issue. They need that leader when they start to struggle. That's going to be the key for Epsilon. We talked to Swanee after that event. He said, that's my role. That's going to be my job on this team. The next squad we're going to talk about, though, is full of leaders, Facento and Burns on Orbit. Notorious for their communication, for their leadership in game, and then accuracy. I was talking to him, he said, I actually make the calls in all hard points. We leave it up to Facento to make the calls in the search and destroys. He's joined by another fantastic AR in Happy.
Happy had a pretty good Season 3 relegation. He started off in Season 1 with Aware. Some pretty good showings. Going to need him to play a lot more like that online. I think more he plays in the Pro League, better he's going to get, but accuracy the one for me. Going to have to really step things up. Had a pretty rough go at Season 3 relegation. They end up qualifying, but going to need better play from him daily if they're going to make it far into the Pro League.
We have another relegation squad coming in next. It's Isolation eSports. Havoc, Silly, Dito, and Llama God. They fell short in the winners bracket, but boy, on Sunday did they make a run. This is the squad that made sure Aches was not in Season 3. They knocked out Prophecy on their way to winning the championship, led by the veteran Dito. You all remember him back, well, for many years, but most notably, I think winning the U.S. regionals with that Strictly Business squad. Kind of fell off in Advanced Warfare. No one going out, picking him up, adding him back to the roster. He's had great success in Ghost. Now he's got a chance to shine in the Pro League once again, and he is surrounded by some monsters. Silly showing his veteranship, a young player, but he's been in the game forever, playing alongside Havoc and Llama God. And I said it at the end of the relegation event. Havoc, another up-and-coming, incredible SMG player, known for his search and destroy, is going to be my player to watch on this squad. I think with Havoc, Isolation is definitely a threat to all of the top teams.
Yeah, Havoc was sick at Season 3 relegation. Dito, really the one who's going to be the leader for this squad. When Advanced Warfare came out, he was kind of in limbo, was on the EG squad towards the end of Ghost. In the limbo, in the beginning of AW, didn't know if that team was going to still play together, and then after that, never really found anything solid up until now, playing with some pretty good young players. Expect them to make some noise in the Pro League.
Llama God clutched things up in the 1v1 to win it all for this Isolation squad. They moved on from that Game 5 and, of course, won the tournament. But Team Caliber is another team we're going to look at, and this squad made moves as late of 3 hours ago. Nameless and Sharp, members from Season 2, coming back together, and they made some room for Neslo and Theory. The old team is back together, Matt. What do you think of this? TK, they teamed together with the Black Ops 2 tournament. Now they're all going to be moving into the team house for Advanced Warfare.
Yeah, I watched Nameless's video. I think the team house is a big part of why they made this move. Get everybody in there on the same page right after UMG Dallas, and you're going to expect big things out of TK. I mean, these guys have been playing with each other for, it feels like, forever now. Going to be, this is really kind of their do or die moment. I mean, they've been teaming together for a very long time, on and off again. Really going to be looking to see if they can make some noise here in AW.
Denial Esports also with some roster moves. This was done a little bit ago. Replays dropped from the team, brought back to the team. Adds in Slasher, Temp, and Hook. If you look at any team and you're looking for strong ARs, I think without a doubt this is the strongest squad. My question is, how good are they? Who is going to be able to move in and take on that SMG role alongside Replays or OBJ?
You know, it's interesting. I watched this team the other day. Temp and Slasher really, they got to figure out how that's going to work out between the two of them. Two dominant ARs. Seems like nobody's really willing to give up their own role, for the sake of the team. So that'll be interesting going into Season 3, how they end up coexisting.
When you look at this team, you see all ARs. When you look at TK, you see all SMGs. I think these are two rosters that I'm not 100% sold on yet, but with a ton of potential. Keeping it going, though, let's take a look at FaZe. Of course, Clayster making the huge jump from Denial, his World Championship team. He and Attach join up with Enable and Zuma after a deal goes wrong with Slasher and Temp, or Slasher and Hook, rather. You see Clayster aligning himself with Enable and Zuma and switching brands here. When you see this new FaZe lineup, is this the team that can finally compete with Optic Gaming, Matt?
Yes, I think this team can compete with Optic Gaming. You look at Zuma and Attach, two very, I don't want to say underrated players, but two players who play at such a fast pace, and they're not afraid to challenge any gunfight. We saw OG play with Zuma yesterday, fit in perfectly for Scump. I mean, those are two players that can really force the issue and win gunfights against Optic. A lot of players can force the issues. Not a lot of players can win the gunfights. Those two can win those fights. Clayster, one of the best they are, if not the best they are in Call of Duty. And then you have Enable, leadership, can do AR, can do SMG, can play fast, can knows how to play the game perfectly. I mean, controls the tempo of the game. It's going to be interesting watching them play together. I think they haven't gotten too much practice as a team in the 2Ks, 5Ks. Really, players been traveling all over the place. I think the Pro League, this first week is going to be their first time going at it as a team.
And I'm really excited to see Attach teamed up there with Zuma. You said SMGs, you got to play it fast, you got to get in your opponent's face. That's what these two men are known for. Zuma normally on the flank, Attach hitting you right in the mouth. This squad, I think, is the most dangerous to Optic Gaming. When I look at it on paper, you can see Clayster was excited. I thought he was going to be with Denial until he died. They made the move, and the reason was he wanted a team with Enable there and Zuma. Keeping it going, though, we'll take it to Opticnation, a squad that bombed out during the regular season but bounced back during relegation. It wasn't always pretty, but they got the job done. After dropping Killa and picking up Mochilla, you see this is really the slayer that they needed on this squad to succeed.
Without a doubt, Moch brings the respawn, play that they didn't have with Killa, that strong AR presence. He's opened the lanes up for everybody on the team. Miracles has played much better, same with Ricky. Owen, I don't think we're going to see a repeat of last season. Struggled really towards the end of last season. Now, I think you're going to see pretty good things going on with Owen here in Season 3.
And then, of course, TCM Gaming, right now, they're looking for one. And if you listen to a few people on Twitter, it looks like they might be looking for two. Moose and Jerd, kind of the backbones of this squad. When I see Jerd, I think one of the few players that can compete with players like Scump in that SMG role. Just a raw slayer, able to get the job done. They, of course, lost Madcat after X Games, and now they're looking to pick up a fourth. No one really knows what's going to happen there. There's a lot of theories that maybe you'll see some veterans from the North American scene teaming up with the Europeans. What's your best guess here, Matt?
My best guess here is, you don't really know what they want to do. I mean, they could bring over another European player. I mean, somebody like Watson, for instance, maybe somebody like Josh. Or, they can go after somebody in North America. But it seems like all the big-name North American players are really taken outside of, Killa. Maybe you get Killa, maybe Parasite. You can convince him to leave E6, but he seems pretty happy on E6. Don't really know what TCM's trying to do.
And then we have Elevate. This is your bronze medal team from the X Games. Didn't see it coming when Slacked and Classic made some power moves. Those holes were empty for a little bit. Apathy and Saints joining up with the squad towards the end of last week. Is this another powerhouse squad, or where do you rank Elevate amongst our top 12?
I wasn't too sure how this team would fare, and then I watched them play yesterday. Very good. It was Slacked running that main AR. Apathy and Saints are so good with the SMG, and Classic, really, he's kind of hit or miss. When he plays really well, this team can contend with anybody, but sometimes you just don't get that consistency out of Nicky D.
And then, of course, we have our last squad, like TCM. They're looking for two. Rise Nation losing 2 players today, as Neslo and Theory are going to jump. Wheats and Chino rumored to maybe be playing with TJ Halley and Goonjar. They have a match tonight. I know that roster lock happened at 5 p.m. today, so we're going to get official word. The latest I heard were the 2 spots were unofficial, but this could be a final lineup for the Rise Nation crew. Is this a good spot for TJ and Goon to end up on?
It's kind of odd, to be honest. You're kind of thrown into this team to play with 2 players you don't really know that well. I think this will probably be their lineup for tonight. Don't know how it's going to go for the rest of Season 3. I do love TJ Alley and Goondro, though, as pickups. You know, Goon has been playing pretty well as of late, you know, with TK. You know, he had some of his best events previous to. And then TJ, I think he's been a strong player all throughout Advanced Warfare. You know, TK just wanted to go in a different direction. I think if Rise goes in this way, you know, with TJ and Goon, I think they'll be pretty good.
Now, these are the 2 players that Team Caliber dropped to make room for Neslo in Theory. How do TJ and Goonjar stack up to each of those players in your eyes?
I mean, you can argue they're just as strong, if not stronger, than Neslo in Theory. I mean, Theory, he's had some good events with TK on AW. Neslo, you know, with SB at Champs, had a decent event. Haven't really seen much of anything else from him since then. So I think you can make the argument that TJ and Goon are just as strong, if not stronger, than, you know, Theory and Neslo.
It's going to be interesting. I think it's been a crappy day for Rise. I know Wheats woke up to the news that he was losing his 2 teammates.
That stinks.
They were under the gun, but they did the best they could. We'll get final word there, guys, on whether or not that roster is official. But if it happens, I think tonight they have a chance of winning their match. That will be the 3rd match of the evening. Speaking of matches, we have plenty new rules coming into Season 3. Before the commercial break, let's catch you guys up on all the major changes. First and foremost, we went from 44 matches down to just 22. Every single match is more valuable now. We have a new host veto feature, and that's going to basically have each team vetoing one host
One
from the
of
other
the
side.
other team's hosts, yeah. So Pucket's on West Coast, I'm on East Coast. We veto Pucket's host because we don't want to play on his West Coast host.
It makes a lot of sense, and honestly, that's something that I feel was kind of needed for a while. Ace was the one who kind of brought it up, and the rest of the pros agreed. You know, why not include a host veto feature so that you can't really just screw each other over time and time again?
Yeah.
It's going to affect a lot of people. I think Temp is a player I'm going to be looking out for, a guy who was given host and he dominated on. How is he going to be able to play off host? Capture the flag, a major change. It was removed from game types as we added some new in. And of course, the prize pool increased to $175,000. We've also added in the maps Compound, Parliament, and Skyrise for Season 3. All matches, of course, will be streamed live right here on MLG.TV/ESR. And if you want the best way to watch Pro League throughout Season 3, we've done some revamping to MLG.TV/Pro League. No longer will you see all of the players listed. It's just the players competing at that time with the casted matches at the very top. So shout out to everyone on the back end here at MLG making sure that can happen. For now, though, we're going to a quick commercial break. Matt and I are going to discuss some of the new maps and what we expect to happen throughout the matches tonight. We want your predictions as well. Don't go anywhere. Xbox One giving away in just a bit.